Have you ever known someone who keeps staying in a relationship that hurts them? Or maybe that someone is you. You tell yourself it will get better. You remember the good days, the laughter, the warmth. You say to yourself, they're not all bad. And so you stay. Even when deep down something in you whispers, this is not love anymore. Why do people do that? Why do we stay where our hearts break a little more every day? Before we go deeper, let me say this. I'm not a therapist or a guru. I'm just a human, someone who has seen pain, read about it, lived it, and learned that sometimes understanding ourselves is the most powerful kind of healing. So today, we're not here to judge the one who hurts or the one who stays. We're here to understand both, because the truth is, no one stays in a painful relationship for no reason. There's always a story behind the silence. For some people, staying is not about weakness, it's about hope. They remember how love used to feel, the late-night talks, the laughter that came easily, the feeling of being seen. They keep believing that person will come back again. That version of love will return. Hope can be both beautiful and cruel. It keeps the heart alive, but it can also keep it trapped. They tell themselves, maybe I'm just overreacting. Maybe if I try harder, things will change. Maybe it's just a phase. They stay because they want to believe in love, because walking away feels like giving up on something sacred. For others, staying comes from fear. Not the kind of fear that screams, but the quiet kind that whispers. What if I never find anyone else? What if I'm not strong enough to be alone? This fear isn't stupidity, it's human nature. Our brains are wired to crave connection. To the brain, even painful love feels safer than no love at all. When you've tied your identity to someone for a long time, the idea of living without them feels like losing a part of yourself. It's not that you don't see the red flags. You do. But your heart says, I can't start over. So you stay. And then, there are people who stay because that's what they learned growing up. If you were raised in a home where love and pain were always together, where affection came with shouting, where comfort followed fear, your brain learned that love feels like chaos. So when you grow up and meet someone who makes you feel calm and safe, you don't trust it. You mistake peace for boredom. You mistake stability for distance. But when someone gives you highs and lows, your nervous system says, ah, this is familiar. And that's how cycles repeat. You don't choose pain because you love suffering. You choose it because it feels like home. And breaking that pattern takes more courage than anyone can imagine. Some stay because they are the fixers. They believe their love can heal the other person. They see the broken parts, and instead of walking away, they take it as a mission. They say things like, they just need more time. They've been hurt before, I understand. They're not bad, they just don't know how to love right. These people have hearts made of empathy, but empathy without boundaries can become self-destruction. Because love cannot heal someone who doesn't want to heal. You can hold their hand, but you cannot walk their path. And sometimes, in trying to save them, you drown too. There's also the invisible weight of guilt. You've invested years, shared memories, built dreams together. Walking away feels like throwing all that away. So you stay, telling yourself, I can't just give up after all we've been through. But sometimes, letting go isn't giving up. It's respecting the version of you that can no longer survive inside this kind of love. In psychology, there's a concept called sunk cost fallacy. It's when we keep investing in something, not because it's good, but because we've already invested so much. We think, I've already given my heart, my time, my everything. I can't just quit now. But the truth is, staying longer doesn't make it more meaningful. It only makes the pain deeper. And then, there's the reason no one likes to admit. Love addiction. It sounds dramatic, but it's real. Our brains release dopamine and oxytocin, chemicals that make us feel connected and rewarded, especially after the emotional ups and downs. That's why when you fight, cry, make up, and feel close again, your brain creates a powerful loop. It craves that emotional roller coaster, mistaking chaos for intensity and intensity for love. It's like chasing the high of almost being happy. But almost happy isn't peace. It's exhaustion disguised as passion. But let's pause here for a moment. If you've ever stayed in a painful relationship, you are not broken. You are not foolish. You are just trying to hold on to something that once made you feel alive. And if you're listening to this, maybe a part of you already knows. It's time to stop surviving and start living again. Leaving doesn't mean you never loved them. It means you're ready to love yourself too. Here's something important to remember. Not everyone who stays is wrong, and not everyone who leaves is right. Sometimes staying is an act of courage because you're trying to see if healing together is still possible. Sometimes leaving is an act of love because you finally understand that love shouldn't destroy you to exist. There is no perfect choice. There's only the choice that gives your heart a chance to breathe again. So if you're staying, stay with awareness. Know what you're choosing and why. And if you decide to leave, don't let guilt tell you that you failed. You didn't fail love. You just stopped confusing pain with it. Now, if you know someone in this kind of situation, please, don't judge them. Don't say, "Why don't you just leave?" Because if leaving were that simple, they would have done it already. Instead, say this: "I see you. I know it's hard. You don't have to go through it alone." Sometimes, that's all it takes for someone to find their strength again, to feel seen, not blamed. Because healing begins the moment someone feels understood. And if you're the one listening right now, holding on to something that hurts, take a deep breath. You are allowed to love deeply, but you are also allowed to let go. You don't have to explain your pain to anyone. You don't have to prove that you've suffered enough to deserve peace. You already do. It's okay to want more than just not being lonely. It's okay to want peace more than passion. It's okay to start over. Because love that constantly hurts you isn't love. It's attachment, fear, habit, and memory. And you deserve something calmer, kinder, quieter. Maybe the lesson isn't about loving less, but about loving better. Loving without losing yourself. Caring without carrying the entire weight. And knowing when to stay and when to stop saving something that's already asking to end. That's not selfish. That's emotional maturity. One day, you'll look back and realize that the version of you who decided to walk away wasn't weak, wasn't heartless, but brave. Because it takes courage to choose yourself after years of choosing someone else. And that's when healing really begins. Thank you for listening until the end. If this episode helped you understand yourself a little more, and you know someone who is staying in a painful relationship, someone who keeps holding on because they believe love will change everything, please share this with them. Maybe they just need to hear that they're not alone. Don't forget to follow this podcast, because we'll keep walking this journey of understanding and healing together, one quiet truth at a time.